Hello and welcome back to Man vs Film. It's December already. We're at the end of 2020 and I've got 10 great movies for you to check out this month during the festive period. So let's get started. Number 10, Level 16. 16-year-old Vivian is trapped in the Vestelius Academy, a prison-like boarding school keeping to herself and sticking her neck out for no one, until she is reunited with Sophia, the former friend who betrayed her. Together, the girls embark on a dangerous search to uncover the horrifying truth behind their imprisonment. Level 16 is one of those great mysteries that just draws you in straight away. You're not really too sure what this environment is, why they're having to stick to these really weird rituals, why they're constantly being watched, but you're pretty sure it's for a nefarious purpose and you're just watching these girls try to deal with what could be their impending doom and how exactly they're going to get out of it. Really fun mystery that may not quite land the way you expect it to. Number 9, The World's End. 20 years after attempting the epic pub crawl, 5 childhood friends reunite when one of them becomes hell-bent on trying the drinking marathon again. They are convinced to stage an encore by mate Gary King, a 40-year-old man trapped at the cigarette end of his teens who drags his reluctant pals to their hometown once again in an attempt to reach the fabled pub, The World's End. Often forgotten as the final part of the Cornetto trilogy, The World's End is a riotously good movie with exceptional editing, pacing and really great characters. Characters that you can delve into, and when you rewatch the movie you start to see their quirks, their neuroses all come to the forefront, and it just adds to the movie while having a really fun sci-fi slant to it as well. Number 8, Dark Waters. A tenacious attorney uncovers a dark secret that connects a growing number of unexplained deaths to one of the world's largest corporations. While trying to expose the truth, he soon finds himself risking his future, his family, and his own life. Mark Ruffalo stars in Dark Waters, and it's a kind of typical-ish movie where you have an underdog fighting against a much grander foe who they should never be able to battle against. David and Goliath. You get a wonderful performances here, and you get this story that, even though it's true, is really shocking and was what drives the movie forward. There's not a great deal of surprises here, but it's emotionally rich and just draws you in. Number 7, Madness in the Method. Legendary stoner actor Jason Mewes is tired of Hollywood's perception of him. So upon advice from his best friend Kevin Smith, Jason seeks out a highly secretive method acting book, determined to reinvent himself as a serious actor. Method in the Madness is not for everyone. It's a kind of quirky movie, and if you're attuned to the Ask universe, you'll probably find this quite enjoyable. It's got lots of those characters and actors from that series of movies in this, but it's based within an alternative reality as we have Jason Mewes becoming a killer to try and become a better actor. It's quirky, it's different, it's a little bit raw, but it's definitely worth checking out. Number 6, Old School. After discovering his girlfriend has been participating in group sex, attorney Mitch feels his world has come undone. He moves into a new place, which happens to be near a college campus, and tries to get his life back together. 2 of his best friends, Frank and Beanie, start hanging out at Mitch's house, eventually turning the place into a wild party pad, much to the ire of the college dean. Old School remarkably holds up. It's incredibly funny. You've got a trio of characters, Luke Wilson, Vince Vaughn and Will Ferrell, who are terrific together. You get this idea of men who are in their 40s, who are settled down, trying to reconnect with their wild teenage years, and it's just so funny, which is one of the best things about it. I watched this recently and I just found it so endearing. Number 5, The Burbs. This story takes place in a typical American neighbourhood when some new neighbours come to live in the house next to Ray Peterson. These new people are rather strange. Nobody's ever seen them. Their house is a real mess, and during the night you can hear weird noises from their basement. The only thing they know is their name, Klopex. One day, Walter, an old man of the neighbourhood, suddenly disappears and everyone starts to suspect the Klopex of foul deeds. The Burbs is one of my favourite 80s comedies. Tom Hanks and the rest of the cast do exemplary work here in this movie about a small neighbourhood and rumours running amok. It's incredibly funny, it's incredibly endearing, it's full of wonderful characters, camera movements, moments within the story that are just riotously funny, and it's one that I can repeatedly watch and never tire of this fantastic film. Number 4, Boys in the Trees. The last night of high school for Corey, Django and their skater gang. Childhood is over and adult life beckons. But for Corey, his past is some unfinished business. When he encounters Jonah, a former childhood friend but now victimised by Django's cruel streak, Corey takes pity on him and agrees to walk him home for old time's sake. What starts off as a normal walk through the empty suburban streets descends into something darker and magical as they tell each other ghost stories. Ever since I discovered Boys in the Trees, I've been a huge fan of it. I try to push it on people as often as I can. I think it is remarkable, and I think the synopsis that I've read out there isn't as close to what the story is what it really is, and I don't want to waste it for you, but this is a really rich story. It's terrifying, it has some spooky moments, it has some great character moments as you discover more and more about these two people, the past transgressions, what's happened to them and what's made them the way they are, and is, wow, just utterly brilliant. I really can't praise this one high enough. Number 3, Scrooged. Francis Xavier Cross is a cynical, mean-spirited television executive. He treats his loyal assistant with contempt. He just sacked a member of the staff on Christmas Eve for simply disagreeing with him, and he's alienated himself from his brother, who still insists on inviting him to Christmas dinner, despite him refusing to go every year. However, Frank is forced to learn the true meaning of Christmas when he is visited by 3 ghosts. Scrooged is my favourite Christmas movie. I think Bill Murray is ridiculously funny, and I like this adaptation of A Christmas Carol because it takes it into a movie studio, a TV studio, as they're creating entertainment. It kind of speaks to me, it tackles the subject matter, which is very familiar, in a kind of new slant, and it has this very black sense of humour along the way. I love the 3 ghosts. Particularly the Ghost of Christmas Present, who is extremely violent, and this is just a riotously good Christmas film. Number 2, Dellamorte Dellamore. Francesco Dellamorte is the administrator of the local cemetery, and he lives in a house by the cemetery with the intellectually disabled gravedigger Nagy, and that is his only friend. The cemetery has a peculiarity, since the dead reanimates on the 7th night after their death, and Dellamorte and Nagy together hunt them down. When a gorgeous widow attends the funeral of her husband, Dellamorte falls in unrequited love with her. Otherwise known as Cemetery Man, this is a really wacky oddball movie, and I'm throwing it on there just to keep you people on your toes because it is unusual. It may not be the usual kind of fare, but I think it's really kind of twisted, unique, and well worth checking out. It is, of course, an Italian production and is deeply engraved within that 70s, 80s Italian aesthetic. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. It's got wonderful effects and a really kind of twisted plot. I really like Dellamorte Dellamore, and I think you should give it a shot. Number 1, Death of a Vlogger. An ambitious vlogger experiences the dark side of the internet when his latest video, which features an alleged haunting, goes viral. Death of a Vlogger is a movie that you could easily miss, and it's one of the best movies that I saw last year, making it onto my top 10 list of the year, and it's basically a rather low budget but expertly crafted, fantastic story. Death of a Vlogger revolves around Graham, a vlogger who gets a little bit of internet notoriety and suddenly feels the backlash of people just coming against him. It's full of incredible atmosphere and scares, and it's just captivating. Listen to some of the stories. It's a little bit funny as well, and I think it is one of the most inventive movies I've seen in the longest while, and I urge you to check this one out this month. So there we have it. 10 movies that I hope you find something there that you can really delve into, something you can enjoy, and I hope you have a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.